Hello, welcome to Mindset to Results. And our guest today is Neysha Arcelay. She is well-being advisor and works with business leaders. Hi, Neysha.
Hi, Elena. It's so great seeing you.
Yes, good to see you too. Tell us please about your journey, how you came to your passion, how you found what you really love to do, and how you help business leaders.
Wonderful. I'm happy to do that. I have to say that it was a very long journey, and I'm still going through the journey. But interestingly enough, my background is actually engineering. I'm an engineer, and I spent 25 years in corporate America in Fortune companies doing transformational work. Um, And actually, at the mark of my 20 years, I just couldn't do it anymore. I burned out so much that I couldn't keep functioning. So, after a month off to try to recover, I realized that I couldn't do that anymore. It didn't make me happy anymore, and I was pushing myself to do something that I didn't truly enjoy. So I wish I would tell you that that's when things immediately change, but that's not true. I actually started another business trying to do the same type of work, but on my own, thinking it was about flexibility. Um, and after 5 years of doing that work, I realized that that was not my true passion, that I needed to do something that it was in alignment with my truly making me happy, which was coaching people, developing people, elevating talent. So, Elena, I got 20 million certifications and started to help business professionals that are at the verge of burnout, undergoing burnout, or trying to recover from burnout. I help them get back on track and elevating them so that they can tackle anything that come their way.
Oh, great. How did you find this especially niche? How did you decide to help especially these people?
It's very interesting because since I started working in corporate America, yes, I was doing engineering work, but on the side, people will continuously assign me the intern development programs. You have to develop it and you have to roll it out to the organization and keep track and report to the leadership, or please develop a mentorship development program. So it was something that it was already happening. Once I decided to change path and do something that it was in alignment with myself, I decided to trust my instincts this time around and follow what truly made me happy. And of course, I was my first customer. Basically, um, I developed a program based on almost 30 years of learning, where that I use on myself and I tweak and correct it. I actually started to gather some initial clients to test it out. So I developed a program that truly worked for me and my original clients in terms of turning around that path of burnout. Because when you burn out, and you know this because you went through the same, it's kind of spiraling down little by little. So through my program, I go the opposite way to spiral yourself up so that you can be consistent with your results, so that you can carry on and do not need me anymore. That's the goal.
Great. So let's speak a little bit more about this burning out because statistics shows that more than 80% of business owners, entrepreneurs are burned out, and we know where it goes. It goes that they are diagnosed with or ADHD or PTSD or anxiety, depression.
Yep,
So, tell a little
absolutely.
bit, yeah, tell a little bit about your experience and how how it felt, like when you
Yes.
were there, how it felt.
So I have to say that the latest study by McKinsey shows that 70% of the workforce, so not only business leaders or entrepreneurs, 70% of the workforce is experiencing some sort of burnout. And that got expedited after COVID, that there was no distraction, everyone was enclosed, and there was no, pretty much no escape other than work. Um, so it is an increasing number of people, and that's dangerous and scary. Um, so some of the symptoms that are most common is things that used to be exciting for you, that you will get fired up about, are not exciting anymore. You're always tired, regardless of how many hours of sleep you have gotten. Things, actually, this was specifically my case. Things that used to take you 15 minutes to complete suddenly are taking you an hour or beyond an hour to complete. And there's this feeling of continuous fatigue, disengagement, tiredness that often, like you said, gets confused with depression. And while depression can be there, we cannot discount the presence of burnout in our lives.
Yes, and also I would say, would like to add here that it also happens that you start forget things.
Oh my
Like
goodness,
you
yes.
know that you have to do something, and then you just like totally forget about this, and you can just remember about this next day that it is something that you wanted to
Yes.
do, and it is like totally cleaned out from your mind.
Yep.
And also it can be very difficult to focus. Like you
Yes.
just can distract it very easily, and you can start doing something, and then you just can jump on another thing and then on another thing. It's like you feel like you're just jumping from one thing to another thing all the day, and you get no results. Like it is your mind becomes very easily distracted.
Yeah, I was going to say, Elena, two more things based on what you said. You're jumping from thing to thing, which is exactly what you said. And at the end of the day, you feel like nothing has been completed. And something that I started noticing my clients is that they will have a very important meeting of which they had rehearsed for many days to have that very important meeting, and in the meeting they just lose the train of thought, and they cannot understand how is it that rehearsed conversations they cannot carry through all of the sudden. So yes, you are 100% correct with the lack of focus. It's very, very common.
Yes, because why I wanted to speak about these symptoms, because I believe that some people, they are so ambitious, so driven, that they just continue this race. They just
Yes.
set tasks for themselves every day. They beat themselves out for what they didn't do, and they see these symptoms, but they don't put attention, and they just
Yes.
continue the way how they did. And
Yeah.
this is how it can really become a huge burnout, right? When the
Yes.
nervous system doesn't want to agree anymore, right? Like when it is
Yeah.
really comes to total collapse, when people get insomnia, panic attacks, anxiety. So this is our conversation. I think it is very helpful for people who already start seeing these symptoms, right? Just
Yes.
to show them that when they show see the symptoms, it means that nervous system already sending the signals,
Yes.
like it is already at the age of breaking, right? Like age of
Yes.
that I cannot do it anymore. And this is the time to come a bit to slow down and connect to yourself. Just start doing something that will bring you in the peace, right? Bring you in
Yes.
the peace. And very good if we do meditation to calm down all these chaotic thoughts, all these plans, right? To plan time for yourself every day that just helps you to calm down and feel good about yourself. Maybe not to do so much, but
Yeah.
just do less. Put your less task, but just make sure that you do them, even if it is just one or two tasks every a day. But it is
So
better to have less. And
this is very interesting what you said because 95% of my clients have been considered high achievers and high performers for all of their careers. So the immediate click when they start to feel the symptoms is exactly what you said. No, if I push harder, if I take one more task, if I do, I'm going to get out of this, like I have done for all of my career. But like you say, it's very important to pay attention to those symptoms because it's only going to get worse. Our mentality as high achievers and high performing professionals is if I work harder, if I prove something, this is going to go away and I am going to get to a rest. But let's face it, in the workforce, there's never a rest. There's always a shift of a project or a new initiative. So, it is also very important to know that when you are feeling like that, some people say, oh, if I take a vacation, it's going to go away. Actually, typically, when you take a vacation, your body gets sick because it has been undergoing so much emotional turmoil and stress that when you slow down to take a vacation, it is actually when you get sick because your body actually wants to recover. So a vacation doesn't take it away. Some time off doesn't take it away. Doing more makes it actually worse. So it is a very real symptom, a very real condition that we all need to pay attention to. And it is very important also to know that you do not take 6 months away to recover. Actually, burnout recovery takes a long time, depending on how much dedication you put into it. In my particular case, it took me some time to realize that I was burnt out and some additional significant amount of time to actually recover. But there is a couple of things that you can do on a daily basis to try to bring your nervous system down and be able to have re-energize your body. Um, in order to tackle the next few hours. And that's the center of my practice. Yes, I do coaching. Yes, I do advisory, and I create programs for organizations, etc. But the center of my practice is combining mindfulness and energy work because the idea is to recognize your body's energy in order to shift it around and be able to progress and move forward. And our bodies produce energy. We are energy beings. The average human body produces about 100 watts of energy, and depending on what we eat, depending on our visual consumption, the programs that we see, and the social media scrolling, that amount of energy can go up and down, and also the environment that we are in. If we are in a toxic environment, if we're in an environment that do not replenish us, all of those affects our body's energy.
yes, it's very true. And it is important to recognize these symptoms at the early stage
Yes.
and just calm down and just reschedule your day, put yourself as priority, and do
Yes.
things which significantly improve your health. And
I couldn't agree with you anymore.
yes, because so as longer it goes, it becomes more difficult, and uh, it comes unexpectedly, like if the
Yes.
spring, if we press the springs, press it, and then if we leave it, it just jumps right far.
Yes.
So
Yes.
this is how, if we just compress this our nervous system, and we compress and we load it more and more, then it just can give
Yes.
us effects which we don't want to do.
Yes.
So what you find the biggest reasons why leaders, business owners, entrepreneurs get to this stage when they are close to burnout or already have that experience?
Two main reasons. Number one, we keep hiding ourselves to try to fit into a mold of success that we have been conditioned to believe that that is the best mold. For example, you go corporate America, you see a lot of people with the suits and the stuff when you really want to be in a more business casual attire. Those are little examples. And I know people are going to say, really? That causes it? I'm like, yes, little examples. Or you have to change the way you like to communicate because some leadership program in corporate America says that you have to communicate this particular way, or you have to change your likes or dislikes because that doesn't fit in the mold of corporate America. So basically, in essence, we change the way we are in order to fit in the persona that for decades has been defined that is a successful person in corporate America. And that actually depletes your energy because you are not replenishing. And the other second reason is that we try to do so much. We try to do so much that at some point something has to give, and typically what it gives is the time that we spend replenishing ourselves. And this is applicable to men, women, to everyone. However, it is more exponential on women that have families because they have to play the role of perfect mom, of perfect wife, of perfect employee. And typically, we are also taking care of our elderly parents. So we have to also be the perfect daughter, perfect friend. So at some point, there's so many hours in the day. So what has to give, something has to give. And the safest bet that we have is to leave ourselves as a latter priority in order not to disappoint anyone else. And that all those two things over time keep building and building. I'm not saying a month or a week or anything like that. Over years of neglect, these things keep building until, like you perfectly describe, the spring keeps getting more compressed until it finally gives out. If you say, I don't have time for doing any of this, no worries. Because at some point, your emotional health and your physical health are going to make time for you. So, better to recognize those symptoms early and start making slow changes so that you can tilt the dynamic and do not fall into the deepest bottom of the burnout cycle.
Yes, exactly. And I like how in airplanes, right? In the planes, when they say that when the turbulence comes, first put mask on your face and then help other people. So this
Yes.
is exactly, if really we want to be the best for our family, for our employees, for our parents, whatever, friends, we have to take care of our health first. And the
I couldn't agree with you more.
yes,
Even our phones, in order to function, you need to charge them. Some people do not charge them for hours at a time. Some people actually put the phone in the charger for a couple of minutes at a time and then put it again because they need to constantly be working through the phone. But even the phone needs charge. It is very naive to believe that we as well do not need recharging. And I know everyone has heard this, but I cannot emphasize it enough. We just cannot continue to give from an empty cup. We need to refill our cup in order to be the best for others.
Yes, exactly. And what you would like to share, like what you teach in your programs, maybe
Yeah,
three important things that people who listen to us and who resonate with this topic and this message that would benefit from this conversation and can already
absolutely.
start implementing.
Number one, get back in touch with yourself. Create time and space in your calendar in order to get back in touch with yourself. And some people tell me, I don't have time for that. I'm like, well, yes, you do. Because when you go detail by detail through your calendar, sometimes you are taking on activities that are not even your responsibility, that you just adopted, right? And people place that expectation on you, but they are not truly your responsibility. So make time to yourself to get back in touch with yourself. Getting back in touch with yourself looks like, what do you like? What makes you feel alive? And what is your zone of excellence? Where do you truly excel? Those things are very important, and we do not make time to understand ourselves enough to actually get this. Once you get back in touch with yourself, step number two, redefine what success looks like to you. A lot of people say, hey, if I have a big title or this particular position or a car or a bigger paycheck, I that's success to me. And that is great if that is truly your true calling once you have defined yourself. I have to tell you, about 65% of my clients do this exercise and they discover, yeah, the things that I was pursuing were not necessarily what I truly consider success. In my own example, and I'm shooting yours too, Elena, we achieve all those things, the title, the car, the money, all of that fun stuff, and yet we felt depleted. We felt unfulfilled. So, step number two, with the knowledge that you obtain on step number one, redefine success and detail that success, that new definition of success, with excruciating detail. What does it look like? What are you wearing? Who are you with? Where do you live? All of that fun stuff. And finally, step number three, develop challenging yet attainable goals that will help you get there. So it is important to challenge yourself because that's how we grow, but also attainable, something that is not going to create more pressure. And that journey that we are going to redefine to the new version of success has to be supported with accountability, a support system, and positive habits, which you mentioned several of them at the beginning of this conversation, in order to elevate you to keep going towards your highest potential.
Yeah, thank you very much. It is really very valuable. And I would say that we are creatures of habits, right? We have
Yes,
those paradigms, so called multitude of habits in our subconscious mind, which
yes,
control our daily behavior. Like 80% or even more of our behavior, what we do every day, is habitual. It means
yeah,
that we are not aware of it. We just like robotic machines.
yep,
We have some programs and we wake up in the morning and even without thinking, we just do the same things every day. So it is good to stop for a while and just look at these activities to become
yeah,
aware what I do on daily basis, and
Yes,
what part of these activities is really for my health, for my well-being, where I take care of
agree,
myself, what I do to love myself, to be in a great state, right? And
agree,
also a good question, what you really want in life, what you really,
agree.
because sometimes we just running for illusion. We think that, oh, that if I get that I will be happy, or if I get this I will be happy, and we get there, and there will be another goal, right? Because people are have this in subconscious mind, like we have this goal orientation, goal setting mechanism, like we
Yep.
always have to have the goal, right? But if you want really something, we should ask another question, like how I want to get there. Do I want to get there healthy, really enjoying life, or I want to get there sick and with problems and different mental
I,
health, right,
and I want to
diseases?
add something about that one. I will add exactly what you said is perfect, and I would add, why would that goal make me happy? Because sometimes we set a goal because, well, it is expected. That's the trajectory of my life. I go to school, I get married, have a family, have a big job, right? But when we're setting those goals, which are important, why would that goal make me truly happy?
Yes, why it will make me happy, and is it really my goal? Because
Exactly.
sometimes we just set the goals because somebody else had that, and
Yes.
it is not even necessary that it will really will be our goal that we need in our life, right?
Agree.
And maybe it is it really worth your time, if it really worth your life, because we don't have like 500 years agreement, right, to live here. We just have, I heard this statistic, and it is just so like, really, it is so uh, just hit me with this number, like 4,000 weeks we only have if we are lucky to live till 80.
Wow.
4,000 weeks. And in
Yes.
80, of course, you're not already in that state what you can do in your 40 and 50, right? So
Yes.
these 4,000 weeks, even we can consider even less.
Yeah.
So we just have to come out of that robotic state of running all
Yes.
our these programs on automatic basis every day, and stop sometime and just start living in this moment, start
Yes.
enjoying life, and instead of just rushing, like, oh, I said also, so, I heard somebody said that some people just jumping like those chicken without head, like it's just
Yes.
jumping, jumping, jumping. And sometimes it is true. Like some people just jumping, jumping all their life, and then they look back and they don't even know like when they enjoyed life, like how it all life passed by, and they didn't recognize like where they even had good time, because they were always doing something and setting some tasks to do and
I
being
agree.
in this marathon.
So, Elena, I'm gonna part. I know that we are at time. I'm gonna part with one story. There is a book made by a nurse who attends people in hospice. She had never once heard anyone in hospice saying, I wish I had attained that bigger position, or I wish I would attended that additional meeting. It's always about spending time following their dreams and spending time with their family. So just for thought for everyone trying to run, like you said, like a headless chicken.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Nisha. It was amazing conversation, and I'm sure that people who listen to us will learn a lot. And I wish you the best, and see you again in our future conversations.
Great, thank you.
Bye bye for now.
Bye.